What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with the overall market and break down some very important levels on Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, and the QQQ, and also other tickers out there. I'm going to break down some very important levels for the market to break for us to see a bigger move to the upside, and also some important supports to watch for as we perpetuate during this trading day and also going into tomorrow. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I talk about what the trends are suggesting for all these different tickers, let me just mention a couple of things before starting. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $50 cash reward. The offer ends in just about 10 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. All right, guys, so looking at Tesla, this is what the structure looks like on Tesla so far, forming a very nice looking bullish wedge. However, the thing about this is there are no guarantees if it will break out or not. We have to watch and see how it tests this resistance. So for Tesla to turn really bullish, we want to see this thing break and hold above 230. If it manages to do that, this thing can start pushing for 232.5. So far, we haven't gotten a clean break. We've tried to get the break, but so far we're still fighting for it. And if we break below this support right over here, this white trend line, we could see Tesla sink a little bit lower for just a temporary little drop back down to like 228 or very close to that area. It's nothing too serious. If anything, Tesla's holding up very, very nicely. We got some bullish news that came out today with upgraded price targets to $300. Not to mention many analysts talking about how on earth Tesla could continue pushing for the rest of the year because of bullish catalysts from the Cybertruck, and the list goes on. So all this bullish news came out. Tesla's holding up very, very nicely. And we're going to be watching this resistance at this 230 area. If that breaks, like I said before, we have potential to push up to 232.5, excuse me, and then 234 to 235 above that. But first, we have to see Tesla try to break. It's making an attempt so far, and we'll see if that ends up going through. And overall, the structure looks bullish. It looks very, very nice. If it comes down to test this support right here, don't forget, like I said before, there could be, the opposite. Always be open-minded in a market like this, but so far it's holding up very nicely, so watch these levels. And looking at a different way or different technicals on Tesla is still looking quite nice on the 30 minutes time frame. The MACD is bullish, forming a bullish wedge, looking like it's getting ready to make an attempt to break out. The 4-hour time frame is also looking quite nice on Tesla, looking bullish after forming this nice inverse head and shoulders. So going back, I can actually show you this on the 5-minute time frame. I called this out over the weekend. I told you all that the odds favor either Tesla comes down and gets a nice bounce, or it just starts pushing up from here. I was leaning more towards Tesla pushing up as soon as we opened. That's what I predicted, and that is what ended up happening, right? We got this very beautiful looking push, and Tesla's continuing to hold up quite nicely. But the real question is, can Tesla continue on this trend? I'm going to bring up the 30-minute time frame so it's a little easier to see. So on the bigger time frames, this is what Tesla's looking like. And you can see it got this breakout right here. So I'm going to delete this line to make this chart look a little cleaner. I would say that this is looking like a nice accumulation structure. We're forming this inverse head and shoulders. The overall setup looks bullish. Now, there could be a drop coming tomorrow in the morning before this thing continues higher. A very, very small looking drop, and then another push up after that. But if it manages to hold, 230, if it even opens above it, we could see this thing just push for the next level. 234, it could come to 235. And then above that, I would not rule out the possibility of this imbalance getting filled closer to like 238. That is also another possible level for Tesla. So, it looks more bullish. We got a very, very nice looking structure, high volume during the day. The volume has been decent so far. Looking quite nice for Tesla. What about for SPY? What are we seeing for SPY? So one of the things I called out before I talked about SPY would be SPX, or looking at the S&P 500 index. When you zoom out of the charts, we called this out yesterday, right? We were talking about how there could be like a head and shoulders like pattern developing. But when these patterns develop, there's no guarantee that they go through. There could be a possibility of this. It just keeps going, right? If everything remains bullish. If not, we could still get a big rejection. The market could end up getting a rejection after Nvidia's earnings or after Jerome Powell's speech at Jackson Hole on Friday. So with this structure, okay, we don't have to worry about the rejection just yet because it depends on external factors we can't truly predict. But here's what I'll tell you. There is still room for upside on SPX. There's still room for upside in the market for the next few days as we approach Nvidia's earnings. I think that with this upside, so far the technicals are aligning. We have this confluence between current levels, the technicals, and the list goes on. Got a clean bounce off this support right over here, and we're about to test some resistance very close to this 4400 area. But if it breaks that, I mean, this is going to help SPY start shooting upwards. So overall, it looks more bullish than bearish. It looks like it's trying to form this, whether or not it ends up playing out. But if anything, we should be trying to form either a right shoulder or just keep going. Either way, it's going to push us up for the next few days, most likely. Now, with Aapl, it's looking good. Apple's looking a lot better than before because this had this inverse head and shoulders like structure, just like Tesla. It's breaking resistance right here. We have this resistance right here. It's breaking above that, and it's getting closer to our next target. If it breaks 176, our 200 EMA happens to be at 176.5. If that breaks, check out this level. We have this imbalance right here. We have a very, very beautiful looking imbalance that is formed on Apple stock. The chart is trying to push in this upwards direction, basically. And then this imbalance right here is acting as a magnet for 177. So this is trying to push this thing higher. And if Apple does start pushing like that, the market's going to follow. It's going to push SPX up. This is also going to lead to the algorithms helping Tesla. The list goes on. Also, Tesla's going to help the market too. But simultaneously, it's looking quite nice. Very, very nice looking structure. Apple looks more bullish than bearish, in my opinion. And then we have the monster, the legendary Nvidia stock, which is going to the absolute moon. We called this out over the weekend. I told you we had a very bullish looking structure. We had this drop on Friday, which was just institutions buying the dips. They were getting ready to launch this thing up. They were ready for it. And that's why they caused it to dip like this. This was their last chance to buy because it went right back into the wedge. And we just got the breakout during the pre-markets today. The full measured move that I was talking about would take this thing all the way up to about almost 470 or very close to that. We're so close to it. In just one day alone, it's approaching once. Did I say once? I'm sorry, 470. 470 is where this thing was heading towards. We actually broke above 460. It's just pumping nonstop. Now, could this thing eventually get like a gap down and just try continue pushing? Sure, but it doesn't matter because 470 should be coming soon. It just looks so bullish. We could see 470. It could even get very close to 500 approaching its earnings. I'm not going to underestimate this stock. It could run like crazy. So at the very least, my target was like around 470. It's actually getting very close to that in just one day. Could get closer to 500 if it keeps up this trend, but we'll have to see how it opens for tomorrow and Wednesday. So earnings come out on Wednesday after the market closes. If this thing keeps going for tomorrow and Wednesday, that's going to help the market. It's going to help the QQQ, especially if you take a look at the QQQ. It looks quite nice. This is also looking more bullish. Exactly what we called out yesterday, right? Inverse head and shoulder structure. Approaching resistance right here. It actually broke. It's getting above 363. So it's trying to get close to 364. This is where we have this imbalance. Above that, we have another one around 365. There's 364.5, actually, then 365. And then we have 366. So it's breaking out. It's looking more bullish thanks to Nvidia and Aapl. So it's looking good. Odds are favoring more upside. It's trying to push even more, fighting for 364 in just a couple of seconds. Looking quite nice right now. You can see it's fighting 364. Looking good. Looks more bullish. And I do anticipate more upside potential for this. On SPY, whoopsies, SPY, this is also looking bullish, right? Same thing we called out. Okay. Nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. And also we had a very textbook looking setup today. So sorry about all these lines. I might actually just close some of these out just to make this like more clean. I have a little bit too many lines. But anyways, I'm going to close this one out and maybe redraw something else later on. I just want to keep this as simple as possible. We're actually trying to break above our resistance at 439. Looks quite good. So I just want to call out something that was very nice today on the 5 minutes time frame. All right. SPY basically was dropping, and I told you guys, don't worry about it. Don't be scared. As long as we hold above our resistance, which became support, right? This previous resistance, which became support, very close to 435. As long as we held that, this thing could bounce. And I told you it was looking good. Looking at the algos, this inverse head and shoulders held. It held through, and this thing is now trying to break out. We called all of this out over the weekend. I was telling you this is going to likely try to break out. On top of this, we had this bullish falling wedge. Look at the structure. Okay, let's zoom into this as much as I can. Check this out. Beautiful, beautiful setup today. SPY basically was dropping. Institutions were buying, accumulating shares as they dropped. Right over here, they were buying. Right here, you could see these wicks were forming. Right here, they were buying. And what happened was it tried to break out, got the back test and the bounce. And this is where you would be entering calls off the back test. This was a very, very good call buying opportunity. I warned you guys about this possibility that we could see a big reversal. If you look at SPY, it's pumping and pumping and pumping. It actually broke above 438. We had this resistance here, which would be very, very tight. I wasn't sure if we'd break this or not. Today, we actually broke it. Now we're at 439. Now that we broke 439, there's not much resistance until we get close to like 440. We could see that very soon. Very beautiful looking structure, very, very strong trend. SPY is on a tear. So it looks very, very bullish. Ultimately, it's not just about the smaller time frames, but there is room for more upside because when you zoom out on the 30 minutes time frame, when you look at this, look at where it's heading towards. Right, it's breaking this resistance. Look at this imbalance right here. This imbalance is at about 440.5. That is where the algos are attracting it. Right, this is acting as a magnet. So it's trying to push up higher. You could see it's just continuing to go. There's not too much resistance. Let me just double check that. I mean, there could be some resistance in the 439s. I'd have to go back and double check that, but it's not that bad, right? It's not. There's no like really strong resistance around the 439s. There's going to be some around like 439.5, but nothing too serious. It gets stronger around the 440 area. And I still think this has a lot of potential to continue pushing. There's not much resistance here in the 439s, some minor resistance here, but nothing too serious. It gets more serious in the 440s. We're getting closer to them. And we called out these bullish divergences and this inverse head and shoulders, which is still holding up. All right. So it looks good. Very, very beautiful structure. Let's hope this holds going forward. And there's going to likely be more upside as we approach Nvidia's earnings. But don't forget that it's okay to secure profits because we don't know what's going to happen after Nvidia's earnings. We don't know what's going to happen with Jerome Powell's speech. Everything could go in the opposite directions. So you have to be very careful towards the end of this week. Until then, the market is pumping. Tesla's trying to break out of 230, continuing to push up. We're approaching some nice resistance, but it's still doing very, very well. NIO is green. Aapl is trying to break up too, as we predicted. Nvidia is now at 464, continuing to break out. The market is improving quite a bit. And that's despite the fact that the 10-year is kind of up. The dollar has turned red, which is bullish for the markets. The dollar got this rejection, came down. That is a good sign for the market for now, at least for the bulls. Amazon reached our target of 135. Nice inverse head and shoulder that formed on it again. We could see Amazon continue to push out into higher levels. It looks more bullish, in my opinion. Same thing with Meta. Our target just got met at the time I'm speaking. It just met our target. Yesterday, I told you it's going to likely break out and hit 290. That was my target. It just hit it right now. It reached 290. It actually did it. So great job, Meta. I don't think it's done just yet. We have this imbalance at about 292.91. I think it's going to hit 292 very, very soon. That's going to be our next target above 290. So far, so good. Coinbase is also a little bit green after dropping a bit. Market is holding up. It's on a tear. Market is strong, at least as of right now. This could change by Wednesday. Don't forget about that. But until then, watch these levels carefully and don't forget to do what you have to do. All right. So thank you for listening. Sorry if this video is kind of long. I will end it from here. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and peace out.